Hello, my name is Ian Runkle, also known as Runkle of the Bailey. In today's video, we're reacting to Road Rager calls police on motorcycle just to get arrested himself. So that's actually not too uncommon. Just because you called the police doesn't mean that the police are necessarily going to be on your side. They're still going to do an investigation, but let's have a watch. I want to see what's going on in this one.
Flagler County got 6 911 calls referring to a fight going on in the street with a knife and a gun.
Knife and a gun as the call. The police are going to be already on edge because they're going to be concerned about where these weapons are. And so we may see a lot of force or just an effort to control where everyone is, what everyone is doing, and to make sure that they know where the guns are, because the police never want those to be pointed at them.
Sir, why don't you step over here? Ma'am, just stay at the motorcycle, please.
Okay, they're separating everyone out so that nobody can hide anything behind anyone. They want clear line of sight on everybody. So far, everyone's cooperating. And I don't hear the sort of aggressive tone in the officers where they're trying to amp things up, which I like. I like when the cops aren't trying to make the situation worse.
Put your hands right there on that pole.
Now, you might be wondering why they're saying put the hands on the pole. And this is kind of something that annoys me about movies. Because in movies, they're always like, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. And the problem with that is it's not really what you see in police videos, because in police videos they're like, put your hands on the car, put your hands in this case on the pole. And the reason why is because if you're holding your hands up, well, eventually your arms are going to get tired, you're going to get fatigue, and what are you going to do? Well, you're going to drop your hands down, and it's just because you're tired, but now your hands are dropping down to where you might have a weapon, and the police are going to maybe misunderstand that. So to avoid those misunderstandings that might get somebody killed, they want you to have your hands somewhere where you can hold that position for a long period if necessary.
Juliet 16, just hold traffic for just a second. Okay, just cool. Just cooperate with me. So the firearm is where?
On this side, my right arm side, under my right arm. Can you drop your knife?
It's all right.
So far, everyone's being pretty cooperative, which is good. There's a little bit of chaos here, but especially the guy with the gun is following directions. He's doing the smart thing, because you don't want to end up making a jumpy cop put a hole in you. You don't want to give them a reason why they think they have to.
You coming?
No,
you gotta do this when there's a weapon.
Right, by the okay, so where's the firearm?
Other side. That's the my phone and the clip.
So this guy is really being cooperative. It's rare that we see people this cooperative in these videos, but that's partially because being uncooperative is how you end up in a video that gets posted to the internet.
We'll get this figured out. Okay. Is there anybody else inside your truck?
No, sir. I called you guys.
All right, so what happened?
So I just came from a doctor's visit in Ormond Beach. Got off 95 and I came to Pine Lakes. I was making a right turn. I made a right on red. They didn't like that. They were in front of me. Okay. He slams on his bike brakes. So I stop. I slow down. Yeah. He keeps going. She's throwing things out the back of that little pouch on her bike.
Road rage situations are almost always two people behaving badly. It's usually two people sort of amping each other up, and this story's already starting to make me a little suspicious.
There, throwing things at my vehicle. I try to go around him, then he speeds up. Finally, he pulls to the right. He lets me around.
So he's trying to go around this guy when she's throwing stuff at him. I'm like, are you having a confrontation? If I've got somebody in front of me throwing stuff at me, I'm probably slowing down, letting them leave. That's just kind of my thought. Yeah, just let them go. People get ego about this. They don't want to be the person to back down. They don't want to be the person to seem weak. And that can get you killed. There's way too many road rage fatalities because people can't back down.
I live right here. So I make the left turn to go home, and I pulled over because he's behind me again. Yeah. So that's when I called you guys. I got out my vehicle, I called you guys.
So he doesn't want to stop at his house. That's sensible. Like, that's a good idea. Although I'd usually, if somebody's following you, try to get to somewhere a little more public. Although there are those workers there. Maybe they could provide some help. Maybe they could be witnesses.
So you pointed the gun directly at you?
They saw it. They had to see it, all these workers.
Did he make any statements when he pulled the gun out?
He said, I will fucking shoot you.
Okay, and where were you all?
I was right there by my driver's side door. Go get her phone. She's got it all on video. Okay. She's got it.
Right now, what we're hearing is not great, but I want to hear the other side of the story here because he's saying he pointed the gun at me. Now, if you're sitting there and somebody's pointing a gun at you and you're just the sort of aggrieved innocent and all you've got is a knife, that's time to leave, not time to stick around. But I don't know, maybe he couldn't run away. Let's hear more.
All on video.
His girl?
Yeah, her, right there.
Had her phone out for it?
Yep, she was videoing.
You're a dumbass trying to ride on fucking red with green lights.
We can't see what's going on, but you can definitely hear that he's being a little more aggressive than he said he was.
The truck, he had the knife in his hand like that. And then
He went and he charged me
with the knife, yeah.
That's when the gun was pulled out.
Yeah, you can see him, he reaches in his jacket.
What's the address?
You've never...
Okay, that's a very different thing. You know, what they're saying there is that this guy charges with the knife, and that's when the guy pulls out a gun. Well, that's starting to sound a lot more like reasonable self-defense, including the shouts. You know, I will shoot you is very different in a context where you're the aggressor versus where somebody's charging you with a knife and you pull the gun, you're like, I will shoot you if you don't stop trying to murder me. I've heard lots of situations where police, for instance, say, you know, drop the gun, I will shoot you, because you want to get it into somebody's head that this is dangerous. You don't have to put a bullet into their head.
Shoot you. He said, I will fucking kill you. And all these workers right there in the corner.
And I gotta say, if somebody was charging at me with a knife and I had to pull a gun on them, I would probably say the same things.
And what kind of gun was it?
Looked like a 9mm Glock.
How would you describe it? Color?
Black.
Okay.
Now, this is funny because people are often very confident about their, they're like, oh yeah, it looks like a 9mm, it's, a Glock. So many times when people say Glock, what they mean is just black semi-automatic handgun. And most people are not going to be able to tell caliber from just looking at the muzzle. I would not venture to say that I know what caliber it is from a distance, because can I really tell at a fleeting glance in a tense moment? Like, is it a 9? Is it a 45? Like, what are we talking here? I think he's just guessing. I'm wondering if we're going to find out what the gun is, because this happens all the time.
Revolver or slide action?
Slide action.
Okay.
The term is semi-automatic. Neither the cop nor this guy seem to know all that much about guns.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that Attorney Tom / Attorney Reacts content is now on Spotify. We just launched a partnered show, link in the description. Go check it out now.
What'd you guys say?
They stopped right here, started arguing, got in the truck, went to slice the knife at the biker dude.
Yeah.
Biker dude stepped back and pulled his fucking gun out on him.
So I can already tell you, this guy is going to be a great witness at trial. And the way you know that is he doesn't care too much about this. He's just like, here's what happened, just the facts, but I'm going to keep coiling my wire. This is not sort of the biggest thing in his day. It's kind of an annoyance in his day. It's getting in the way of him getting work done. And I mean, this has got to be hard work. He's probably keen for a break, but he's just like, no, here's just the facts. This guy will be a deadly witness at trial. You can argue things like that maybe you didn't see things as well as all that, but I think it's going to be hard to shake this guy on, him having a bias, him trying to sex up the story or anything like that. I think this guy's going to be great, which is bad for the guy in the white shirt so far.
That's when the dude in the truck took the knife and sliced it at him.
Did he jump out of the car with a knife automatically in his hand?
Yeah, he had that. It's like a fucking knife, not a big old knife.
Now, the one thing I don't like is that the police are interviewing all of these guys together, because there is something I could argue about that. Like, he doesn't remember that part, but his friend does. These guys have cobbled together a story together. You can make some arguments about, maybe their memory isn't as good as it seems here. I don't know if it'll fly at a trial, but it's certainly ammunition for a good defense lawyer.
Is that your husband?
Yes.
Okay, did he get off the bike with the brass knuckles in his hand, or did he get off just confrontational?
Wait, brass knuckles? That's the other thing I want to know is, are brass knuckles legal here? Because brass knuckles are illegal where I am and in lots of places, so that could really change how the police approach this too. If you have an illegal weapon, you can expect that the police will view you as the bad guy.
He got off as confrontational. He carries those in his pocket.
Okay.
He got out of the truck with the knife. He had the knife pulled when he got out of the truck. And that's when my husband put those on. Because he told me, he said, knife. And that's when I got my phone to record. Because I knew it wasn't going to go well.
Okay.
I love this. They've got the guy in the cherry picker here. He'll have the bird's eye view, like he's got the aerial view. And sometimes you can just really sum things up. The dude in the white shirt is crazy because right now the cops are trying to figure out who the bad guy is. And a statement like that, it can do a lot to sway the police here.
And then he was talking about like hitting them, and the biker dude was like, just, you know, kind of be big in front of his old lady, and then that dude like a fucking like shitty knife on him and swung at him with it, and then that dude pulled his gun on.
And there you get it too. You know, the biker dude's trying to be big in front of his lady. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just let things go. I know it can be hard, but letting things go is an important survival skill.
Let it go! Did he have the knife in his whole entire hand when he jumped out of the car?
He had it at some
really
point.
sure.
I want to say he had it like in like maybe his pocket or something at first.
He had, when he got out, I seen him.
See that damn he was standing right here. I was underneath the bucket.
So this is the problem with the group interview, is you're getting a bit of truth by consensus. One guy says the knife is in his pocket, one guy says the knife is in his hand, and so if I'm defense lawyer, I want to argue it's in his pocket, right? So what I'd be arguing about the guy who says the knife is in his hand is that, no, this is just consensus, and especially if one of these guys flips later and goes from pocket to hand, it's like, well, of course he did. He was hearing all of his friends talk about it.
For what it's worth, the vehicles never hit each other.
No.
There's no accident or nothing.
No. She smacked my phone out of my hand and broke my phone case. So.
Was there any other physical contact besides that?
No, she did hit me.
The phone?
I mean, I'm sorry. He hit me with his hand. He hit my hand, knocked my phone out of my hand, and it fell on the floor. Then she kicked it. Then she picked it up and was going to slam it on the floor, but he said, "Don't."
What were you doing with your phone? When you were
I was trying to video.
Okay.
If he said don't smash the phone, he was offering very good advice. All of this comes down a lot in terms of how the police respond to a decision of who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And anything you can do that puts you in the good guy category instead of the bad guy category is a thing you should be doing. And conversely, if you've got a witness who says, oh, they grabbed this guy's phone and smashed it, that could change the police's mind as to who the villains are. So that was excellent advice from Mr. Gunn here.
You didn't say you were calling 911 or nothing like that?
They didn't give me a chance. Right when I pulled over, he comes running.
The reason why that might be significant is many places have laws or principles that if you prevent somebody from calling 911, that can be could be a crime, or it could just be something that makes the situation worse.
Over. I jumped out of the car with my knife. He jumps out. So then I stopped videoing and I dialed 911. That's when they shoot back.
At what point was the gun pulled out? Like, how soon after you all stopped was the gun pulled out?
Immediately.
Was it the first thing you saw when you got out? Or did you see it before you got out?
No. It might. Everything happened so fast. She's got it on video. You got to get that video.
Everything happens so fast. It's a very, very common line because the effects of adrenaline, it's great for getting you to be able to react in a hurry, but it's not necessarily great for getting you to think in a hurry or form a picture-perfect memory of things. And when you're angry, when you're upset, that's a whole lot of adrenaline.
He had brass knuckles. He has brass knuckles.
At what point did you see the knuckles?
He had them on his hand.
Like the whole time while he was riding?
No.
Or like when you got out,
I think
you saw him?
And you see, that's the other wonderful thing about him being on a motorcycle. There's just not going to be a way. He's going to have to put the brass knuckles on after he stops because you just can't. There's no way you're going to be riding your bike with brass knuckles on. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. When I got out, I saw them. And he was looking at the knife, and he goes, fucking knife? He goes, you bring a fucking knife? He goes, you're going to fucking stab me? I said, if you fucking keep coming at me, I'm gonna. And
so this story is not matching up with any of the other witnesses here.
And then he pulled out the gun. That's when he pulled out the gun.
All right, so basically what happened is these guys had a front row seat to this whole thing. So they're over here working, especially the one guy with the yellow hat. You need to get, they're willing to write statements. Okay. So basically what they saw is, I guess the road rage happened. They come over and start yelling. The one guy said the one guy in the white long neck came out with the knife already in his hand.
That's what we're
He said he already saw him with the knife in his hand. This guy came up trying to be big old bad in front of his old lady. He didn't see when he put the knuckles on, but he already had the knife in his hand. And he said they were arguing back and forth. And at one point, he basically, what we saw in the video, he swung and tried to cut him with the knife.
Yeah, it's clear.
And he misses, and then he basically turned around and said, oh, no, you don't. Basically pulled out the gun.
And quite frankly, I think that was the wrong time to pull out the gun. You got the guy with the knife there. You're getting up close enough for him to take a swing at you. The guy with the gun could have been killed here. He absolutely could have been killed. He should have been keeping his distance and disengaging, but also well armed. This is poor self-defense.
Agason with deadly weapon. We want to confiscate that knife as evidence.
Yeah, he said he threw it in the truck.
Yeah, I see it's right on the driver's seat.
Okay.
So, and he doesn't have anybody else here, so we'll tow.
Let's go ahead.
Temple.
Let's get this guy out of cuffs then, since he's not going to be detained.
One guy's getting carted off to the police station. That's the guy in the white shirt. The other guy, they're like, let's uncuff him, which is a great day for the guy with the gun here.
Yeah, he can get out of cuffs. This guy can go in back of your car. We'll start getting statements. And did you have her send an email to you?
I'm trying to work on it, but the email's too large of a file. So unless we have an Android cable.
Raphael was originally charged with 1 felony count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. About a month after the incident, the charge was downgraded to 1 first-degree misdemeanor count of improper exhibition of a deadly weapon. The case is ongoing, and his next court date is set for September 1st.
So that is, that's kind of, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, we don't have results at this stage, but I'm curious. Ultimately, there may be some proof issues here. There's a lot of different takes on this, but I suspect we may see a plea deal where this guy pleads down to something lesser that doesn't sort of muck up his life too badly, but I don't know. So those are, I guess, my thoughts on this one. I want to just note the guy on the motorcycle could have gotten himself killed here. Absolutely could have gotten himself killed here, and I would have pulled the gun earlier than that in that confrontation, but also stayed farther back. An important life skill is being able to walk away from things, because even though you're in the right doesn't help you when somebody starts sticking you full of holes. Plenty of people who have been in the right and also in the morgue. Just, I guess, some food for thought. Anyway, if you liked this video, please check out these other 2 videos. Hit the like button, the share button, all of those things. Also, let me know what you think in the comments below, because A, that helps the channel grow, but also I really like seeing your guys' takes. I want to see sort of what you guys have to say about this one, because I'm always curious. I've got my opinions, but I always want to hear other opinions as well. So that's it. Until next time, see you guys.
Big verdict.